Me a little bit of the controversy, if you will, that's surrounding Pinterest at this point in time, because they've been at an incredible growth rate so far, but right now they're definitely hitting, seems to be a little bump in the road, if you will.
Yeah, their growth is so huge that it almost brought all this new attention on them, and everybody's looking at them really closely now. And what it looks like is that everybody kind of didn't think about the fact that we're spreading around all these images and we're pinning them and repinning them, and they're not ours. They don't belong to us. They belong to graphic artists and people who write craft blogs, and they're not getting all of the citations correct every single time. So there is some copyright questions here.
I was going to say, one of the things that's interesting about it is, yeah, there's a lot of incorrect citations. A lot of people are just free will kind of posting up saying, I like this. I'm going to be using, let's be serious, my fiance is all over and every single night she's showing me something different that's going to be for the wedding. I only know what it's actually going to be. But pinning everything every night, and yeah, they aren't citing it correctly. However, doesn't Pinterest, don't they provide almost the link back almost to when you click it, or no?
Well, the problem is that sometimes people are pinning things from, say, Tumblr. If I'm on Tumblr and I see a really great picture and I want to pin that, it's not necessarily true that the person that blog came from is responsible for the image. So I'm pinning something, but it's not coming from that site. So the person is just getting all lost in translation.
Now, with that being said, now here's where we get into semantics, and this is where you can almost have to dig deeper, because when that person obviously posting something from Tumblr or Blogspot or whatever they happen to be posting it from, are they citing it correctly? I mean, it almost is a tangled web at a certain point, isn't it?
It really is, and it's really, which is why I don't necessarily think legal action against suing Tumblr and suing Pinterest aren't going to solve anything. The internet is different than it used to be. Blogging is different than it used to be. And we need to figure out some sort of, I don't know, case law to address this. There needs to be some big, this is just how the internet works. No one's trying to hurt anyone. We all need to adjust and figure out how we're going to treat citations online now.
Let's be serious, Molly. This isn't exactly the exact same thing when we were in high school and writing, your bibliography at the back of the end of it all and say, hey, here's what I cited, or, you have your footnotes at the bottom of the page. That isn't necessarily the way the internet, in fact, works. So with that being said, and with that in mind, what are some of the steps that Pinterest are actually doing to maybe combat this issue right now? I've noticed some of the latest things that have come out. People are talking about it, especially Pinterest is discussing, saying, well, no, we're not actually going to be allowing it, and allowing some of these bigger brands to say, no, you can't actually pin anything of mine. Talk a little bit more about that.
Absolutely. I think that they've responded really well. Instead of, shutting down a really big function of the site, they have offered some code. So if you want to block a person from being able to pin something, you can grab the code straight from Pinterest, and a little pop-up will come up and say, you can't pin anything from this page, sorry. And that's somebody's prerogative. They definitely are losing out on millions of eyes because the site is so popular. But it's still really good of them to be taking those steps. And they also do have a lot of instructions on how to report copyright. Whether the team at Pinterest is big enough to deal with all of the issues that are coming in at the same time, I'm not really certain at this point. But they will scale to size because they are so popular and they're not going to go anywhere.